Guys, I can't tell you how much I've missed Chainsaw Man. And, this is a very new channel, so I've been reading Chainsaw Man, gosh, since it pretty much started. And I've been a huge fan of it. I love Makima. Not like some people love Makima, which, by the way, guys, all the simping going on for Makima for literally like a year and a half. She's great and all, but she doesn't have the assets, quote unquote, that you think she does. She's cool though, and I completely get it, but don't let the fan drawings fool you, right? But yeah, I've been a huge fan of Chainsaw Man, reading it chapter to chapter alongside JJK. It's been great. And to finally see Tatsuki Fujimoto come back is awesome. And there's just so many things coming back, but this chapter for me really solidified how much just Chainsaw Man is unique in its own way, right? And honestly, I just want to have a discussion and a talk over this, right? And just analyze everything I can. First off, I absolutely love Mr. Bucky, right? A headless devil chicken that's going to be living for like 100 days, and he's just in the class, right? And they're supposed to be, through this chicken, they're supposed to be learning about life and death. And he has a bow tie on, right? It's just like, how can you not like Mr. Bucky? And honestly, if they don't have any Chainsaw Man merch of Mr. Bucky, that's a huge miss. Yeah, but we start the chapter off with Mr. Bucky, right? And 3 months from now, he's going to be killed, like it was explained. Now, we start in a classroom. We know Denji is supposed to be going to school. At least that's what we think, based off the ending and him wanting to experience that and stuff. But, we don't see him, right? So we're kind of going through the class. We're getting to know some of the students. We're getting a lot of jokes. Bucky's worried that, hey, they're actually going to kill me. And then we see our main female character, now that Makima's gone. Power's gone. Maybe she gets back, I don't know, but rip. Asa Mitaka, right? And she's got a very kind of cold demeanor to her. She seems very kind of plain and stuff, versus some of the other female characters that Tatsuki Fujimoto has introduced, but this is not a bad thing. So we kind of get a little bit into her. She's not really the popular type. She's kind of outcast, I guess, in a sense, right? And we kind of see her walking around the school, right? We see her looking at people like talking with each other. We see her kind of looking at couples with disgust. She just doesn't get it. She doesn't really understand it. We see her outside eating, and we finally get introduced to another character, class president, right? And they're talking, they're eating, and it turns out a couple things, right? We know that we learn from this little conversation that Asa doesn't have any friends. But it seems like class president is trying to open her up a little bit, right? And we see that she's eating, and this is kind of funny, right? Because Chainsaw Man is he's famous now, right? Denji is famous. He's got his own Chainsaw Man Curry Man. Or no, Chainsaw Curry Man. Wow, I got that wrong, but he's got his own food, and we find out he's all over billboards. He's famous. He's got his posters everywhere. Everybody knows the Chainsaw Man. And we get the notion from the conversation. Mitaka Asa talks about how, the city's corrupt. We've got illegally constructed buildings. We have a mayor with the DUI, she says. And there's a devil out there named Chainsaw Man playing Devil Hunter. And they're based off of that means there's plenty of devils running around as well, right? So really get a little interesting as to where things are after Makima and all that stuff, right? And she mentions herself that I wish Chainsaw Man and Bucky would both hurry up and die. So she's got a disdain specifically towards Chainsaw Man, and I think devils in general. But she says, and now we're keeping that chicken devil as a part of our pet in our classroom. So she's very kind of by the books, and anything that's just she views as ethically or morally wrong, she just doesn't want anything to do with it. But she definitely does not like Chainsaw Man, and I really want to get into why she doesn't. It'll be interesting to find out. So, back to the classroom, right? They're making jokes, right? We get a lot of just really funny jokes with Bucky here. And it's funny, man. I've always liked the comedy in Chainsaw Man. I think the whole thing with Kobeni is great. When she was kind of playing Dance Revolution with Chainsaw Man. Like, there's just a lot of just humor in Chainsaw Man that just makes it so unique, right? But they're making jokes, they're laughing, they're enjoying it. And the class comes to the decision that they don't want to kill Bucky because the 3 months have passed. And Mr. Tanaka, the teacher, he's crying like, oh my God, thank you. I'm glad you guys kind of embraced life, even if it's from something that is a devil, right? They were able to look past that, right? And Asa is kind of shocked. She's like, what? Like, you guys really changed your mind like that? And she's kind of walking out looking a little disappointed, and she's kind of, again, ostracized like she always is. And then we see, you know, the Prez, and we see Mr. Tanaka trying to make her join in. And Bucky goes all the way flying to her, jumps on Asa Mitaka, and, you know, she's kind of elated with this feeling of happiness and being included in something, right? And she's looking at all her classmates and stuff, and she realized maybe I was a little jealous of everything. And I think this is really interesting because Denji didn't have any friends. Denji didn't really live a life like, honestly, not even as close to Asa has, right? So I think when they encounter, this will be something that's really important and highlighted. But she feels that feeling of inclusiveness, and she gets a bit happy. And out of nowhere, this was hilarious. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how you cannot laugh, but she basically falls on top of Bucky, and Bucky's guts are all over the floor. And everybody starts crying. Asa is sweating. I've never seen someone sweat so hard. And then this was funny. They all start sweating too. They're crying, and then Asa is so messed up by the fact that she killed Mr. Bucky, right? That she throws up and faints. Fast forward, we see her in the hospital. She can't believe she killed Bucky. She comes into class. She looks mortified, right? She literally wants to kill herself because of what happened. Now, fast forward some more. We get them about to go to Bucky's grave. Mr. Tanaka is kind of being reassuring, and Class Prez is with them as well. Like, just being like, look, everything will be okay. Let's just go, you know, not apologize, but, you know, give condolences to Bucky at his grave, right? I don't know why I keep saying Mr. Bucky. But, yeah, so they're over here waiting at the stoplight, right? Or the crosswalk. And we get a little bit of some exposition here from the class president, right? Because she's getting upset that she's always this kind of uptight but kind of sweet, perfect person, right? She says, you know, you're such a goody two shoes. And then Mr. Tanaka's like, Prez? And then we kind of see her back, and she's like and she says, Mitaka, did you know that Mr. Tanaka apologized for Bucky's death to the whole class on your behalf? We didn't know that. Did you know that Mr. Tanaka was the one who told me to befriend you? We did not know that. And we see that Mr. Tanaka's sweating. And then we see her transform into this little mass, this flesh mass. And then she says, did you know that Mr. Tanaka likes you even though he's having sex with me? I don't know. And when I read this, I'm like, oh boy, I already know where this is going immediately. I was like, Asa, she needs to get out of there. And listen, Mr. Tanaka is sweating bullets. And then she turns into this crazy beast with like 5 different heads. And she said, I made a contract with the Justice Devil to find out, right, how to reach a happy ending with Mr. Tanaka. So she made a contract with the Justice Devil to get, I guess, quote unquote, justice, and to hit that Justice Devil's help on finding out how she could end up with Tanaka, right? Craziness, crazy, right? And she automatically gets attacked. She dodges, And she's class pres is just talking about how she got tired of holding it in. She's been trying everything, and the only way Mr. Tanaka is going to accept her is if she is dead. And Mr. Tanaka is just like, yo, what is going on? And then we get revealed that the Justice Devil was in class pres's ear and told her basically, you know, trip her, she'll fall. And so it was basically her that tripped her, right? And if you go back to the panel, you could see her like right across from Asa in this whole thing. So you can confirm that it definitely was her tripping her, because she was right next to her when she fell down, right? But yeah, she was the one behind it. And literally we see her about to get attacked, right? We see life kind of flash before her eyes. She basically realizes, I wasn't responsible for Bucky's death, thank goodness. The class was jealous of, or excuse me, class president was jealous of me. And then she also said, it must be like that for everyone. Everyone's jealous of somebody. And she says this, and I want to highlight this, right? If I'd have known I could have had a better life, maybe I could have had friends or even a boyfriend. I wish I tried living just a little more selfishly. Now, again, this is kind of paralleling for me with Denji. I think, and I don't know how or why she dislikes Chainsaw Man that much. It might just be how she is, right? Because she's very like by the books from at least to me, that's how it seems. But I think Denji is going to be able to show her just like what type of person she is, and what he's really about, right? And I think she could experience that friendship or even relationship, like she said, a boyfriend with Denji. Who knows, right? But I don't think, for now, I do not think she's a bad guy. I do not think that at all. I think, if anything, they're going to be working together throughout this manga, and they're going to develop at least some type of friendship. Because Denji, I really do believe when we meet Denji, he's going to be a little bit more mature than what we knew of Denji. But I think one thing that's not going to change, he likes girls. Like, when he sees Asa, like, he's going to, like, I think he's legit just going to fall for Asa, just like he did with Reize, Makima, Power, even though her and Power were like more like brother sister, honestly, to me, more than anything. But I think that's what's gonna happen. But anyway, we get this creepy looking thing. I think it's an owl, and I was looking up research on if, you know, the war represents an owl or vice versa, and I really couldn't find much. So I don't know if it's an owl exactly, but it looks like one. But this is the war devil. And he's like, if you want to live, your body will be mine. And she revives and regenerates. That's key, because her whole face was messed up. She regenerates, and then on top of that, this is where we learn of her power. She says, Tanaka, spinal cord sword. So she announces it, and she turns Tanaka's head and spine into a sword, right? And we see later what else she could do. But just from this, oh, you know what I just realized? I just realized the scars that she got from the scratches was from the class president. So they got healed, right? But we see her anyway. We see her with the spinal sword, and we see her scars. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? This panel right here of her with the scars holding Mr. Tanaka as a sword, this was the first time I'm like, this is the only, like, to me, this is the only girl with scars that looks like really attractive. And maybe it's the eyes, maybe it's the attitude, but I was just like, you know what? The scars actually work for her, like 100% work for her. But yeah, it's a cool power. So basically, she could turn anything, basically she wants, any object, even if it's a human, right? We see her with the sword, and Mr. Tanaka's like basically just about dead, actually, like almost. But we see her fight, right? She chops up the hand of class president. She grabs the hand. She said, a fine hand, I'll take that. Hand grenade, turns it into a grenade. So this is key, guys. This is a pretty crazy power. She's able to turn, like I said, anything, it seems, into a weapon, right? And then she, again, Class president goes in for an attack, and then we see Asa counterattack, cuts her in half, and then after cutting her in half, she basically, and this was funny, we see her go, Mr. Tanaka, and then they basically kiss, right? They're like on top of each other, and then she throws the grenade, and then boom, she walks off, kind of like the, what's the one shot that Tatsuki Fujimoto did, the Eri one shot, you know, at the end of Eri. If you've read that, if you haven't read it, I would go read it. At the end of that manga, we see the guy walking off. She does the same exact thing, right? And she's basically a badass now. We see there's a sign, Chainsaw Man calling party May 12th in Hall 2. She says, just you wait, Chainsaw Man, I'll make you vomit nuclear weapons back up. So she's on a power trip right now. I think because of what happened with Class Prez, what she was talking about, like living life more selfishly, I think she's going to try and do what she wants now. She's not taking shit from anybody. So again, this is going to be a crazy part 2 of Chainsaw Man, guys. I'm super excited, and I'm going to be reviewing this. It's great to have it back. And once Hunter x Hunter is back too, and I still have to catch up to Berserk personally, but yeah, man, like it's going to be crazy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.